Good morning. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Go ahead and just take a moment to find your way to your mat. And getting into a nice, comfortable seated position. And allowing your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. If it's available to you, beginning to take your inhales and exhales both through the nose. And as you continue this breathing, just taking a moment to tap in, tune in with yourself. Scanning the body from head to toe for any tensions or tightness. Just becoming aware of any injuries or any areas you might be nursing back to health at the moment. And as we move through class, we're just going to take the time to honor these areas, being gentle with them. And if there are none for you today, then may you feel so grateful for that. Allowing your eyes to open. I'm going to go ahead and bring your arms out to your sides, making a fist, wrapping your thumb kind of over the top of your pointer fingers. We're just going to drop the pinky finger towards the floor, opening the side of the wrist. Still allowing the shoulders to fall down away from the ears. And then up. Now you're folding the wrist up, thumbs towards the sky. And then releasing that, facing your knuckles towards the floor, go ahead and drop your fists towards the floor. You might just feel some micro stretches through the wrists and forearms. And coming back to center and up, drawing those knuckles up towards the sky. Let's go ahead and make some nice slow circles. In one direction and then the other. Working out any little points of tension or crunchy spots. And go ahead and bring your hands together in a prayer position. So interlacing the fingers. And we're just going to gently make like a figure 8 with the wrists. And whatever direction you took the figure 8 to begin with, go ahead and take it the opposite direction now. Beautiful. Go ahead and keep your fingers interlaced, pressing your palms forward, drawing your shoulder blades back along your back, pressing your elbows in towards one another, and then slowly beginning to lift those hands up towards the sky. Maybe you get them alongside your ears, maybe you don't. And one day you might be able to, and another you may not. It kind of just depends on where you're tight and where your body is. And just meeting yourself wherever you're at today and working from there. And release. Go ahead and switch the cross. Pressing forward. Drawing the shoulder blades back and down away from the ears. Inhale up. And release. Go ahead and take your feet out long. Left foot crosses over right. Go ahead and take that left hand behind you. Right arm up and hug or hook that right elbow on the left knee. Breathing into the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen into the twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. And on your next inhale, releasing to center, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs. Taking that right hand behind you, left arm up, and you can hug or hook into that twist. With each inhale, lengthening, and with each exhale, deepening. Release. We're going to go ahead and form upright with some core. So go ahead and begin to roll one vertebra at a time down to the mat. Bringing your feet up, shins parallel to the mat. Go ahead and interlace your fingers, making a little pillow for your head. So not pulling on the head, it's just going to be there for a little bit of support. On an inhale, lifting the head and shoulders up. The left leg is going to come out to a 45, and then the left hand comes across the right knee. Inhale back, exhale, switch. Inhale, center, exhale, switch. Continuing at the pace of your breath. Inhaling to center and exhaling to switch. Nice and slow and controlled. Head and shoulders stay up. Just a couple more times. One more time each side. And releasing that head and neck back to the mat, feet to the mat. Go ahead and bring your hands alongside you, gazing up towards the ceiling, gently pressing the head, the back of the head, into the mat, pressing the hands and arms into the mat, walking those heels in as close as you can to your body, and maybe pressing those thighs all the way together. So the feet might be a little bit closer than hips distance. From there, go ahead and begin pressing into the feet and hands, rolling up one vertebra at a time, pressing the hips up, squeezing those thighs towards one another. Exhale, rolling back down, one vertebra at a time. When your hips hit the mat, go ahead and inhale and roll back up. Squeezing glutes and thighs towards one another. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. On this one, we're going to hold it. Inhale up. So when you get to the top of where you can, go ahead and roll those shoulders under, clasping the hands behind your back, pressing strongly into the back side of the hands, really shifting those hips up towards the sky, squeezing the thighs towards one another so the knees aren't flailing out. You're tightening through the glutes, opening through the chest, pressing strongly through both feet. And go ahead and release the hand clasp, release the shoulders, and begin rolling down, one vertebra at a time. Once you reach the mat, go ahead and pull your knees in towards your chest. And give the hips a little rock from side to side. Maybe you make some little circles in one direction, holding on to the knees. And a few circles in the other direction. Go ahead and grab behind the thighs and just begin rocking back and forth. Maybe you take a few spinal massages if you're on a floor space where that feels comfortable for you, before coming all the way up to seated. And then go ahead and make your way onto your hands and knees. While I drink my tea. Go ahead and take your wrists about shoulder distance apart, knees about hips distance apart, finding a nice neutral spine. On an inhale, dropping that belly, lifting the crown and tailbone. Exhale, pressing back into cat. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Moving at the pace of your own breath. Maybe take a little bit of intuitive flow, maybe going backwards and forwards a little bit, making circles, maybe dropping that chest down in between the shoulders. Maybe you pause on any places that are exceptionally tight. And maybe a breath or two more before making your way back to neutral spine. And from neutral, go ahead and take that right foot back, pressing strongly out through the heel, opening across the back of the leg. Inhale that left arm forward, and right foot's gonna come up off the mat, parallel to the ground. Tightening through the belly button and front body, really pressing out through that back heel. Go ahead and bring your elbow to your knee on an exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. If you've got a couple more, let's continue together. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Crunching out the inside there. One more time. Inhale, out long. And exhale. Crunch and place your hand and knee back on the mat. And we're going to prep for the other side, bringing that left foot back, toe to the mat, pressing out through the heel, lengthening through the back of the leg. Inhale, that right arm forward, left foot comes up off the mat, finding parallel, finding balance, reaching out through that heel and fingertips. On your next exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. With a crunch and lengthen. And exhale, crunching in and lengthen. Deep inhale, exhale, crunch. Hopefully I didn't lose track of the count too much. I think this is the last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. And release. Hand and knee to the mat. Pressing hips back. Child's pose. Forehead comes to the mat. Take this opportunity to take a few nice deep breaths, reconnecting with your Ujjayi, breathing in and out through the nose. On your next inhale, coming back onto the hands and knees and all the way down onto your belly. We're going to take locust or Shalabhasana. So maybe bringing the tops of the feet to the mat. Taking the cheek to one side, bringing the backs of the hands alongside your hips. From here, we're going to first start by activating our quads. So another way to feel that is like lifting the kneecaps up towards your hips. Then you're gonna contract the lower abdominals or draw your belly button up and in. And then you can begin to lift the head and neck, pressing the backs of the hands into the mat. You're still activating those quads strongly, so your knees are probably up off the mat, but your feet are still touching. And just continue to lift through the front, drawing those shoulders down away from the ears, pressing into the backs of the hands. Taking a couple breaths here. And releasing back to the mat. You can relax everything for a moment. We're going to come back up a couple times. On your next inhale, lifting the head and shoulders. And now lifting the feet off the mat. Your quads are nice and activated, glutes are activated, really pressing those heels up towards the sky, drawing those shoulders down away from the ears, lifting through the crown of the head. Still in alignment with the neck though, you're not cranking your head up. It's just in alignment with the neck. Couple more breaths here, lifting those heels. And exhale, release. all the way to the mat, relaxing. And just one more time. Go ahead and interlace your fingers behind your back. Then you're going to draw your knuckles down towards your heels. Inhale, lifting the head and shoulders, lifting the arms up off the back, lifting the legs, pressing those heels up, pressing those fists back. And on the next exhale, go ahead and release. Uncrossing those fingers, bringing them back right under your shoulders, pressing up and hips back, child's pose. Once you've reconnected with the breath here, go ahead and inhale, back forward. We've got one more on the belly here. So coming back all the way down, go ahead and take your elbows right under your shoulders, clasping your hands. So you can press the forearms and the back of the hands into the mat. We're going to come up into a forearm plank. So tucking those toes under and getting ready to really activate those abdominals. So when we push, we're going to push really strongly into those elbows. So the shoulders are going to come down away from the spine. It's going to be as if you could press your spine up through your shoulder blades. You're going to be very strong through the belly. So the bottom's not going to be making a tent, but it is going to be up. You definitely don't want to be dipping down in your lower back. Very strong quads, pressing strongly out through the heels, and ready, let's go. Pressing those hips up, pressing out through those heels, tucking that belly button up and in, pressing strongly through the shoulder blades, drawing out through the crown of the head. And just double checking that again through the heels, squeezing the thighs towards one another, lifting those kneecaps up towards the thighs, belly button up and in, pressing in through the elbows and releasing knees, belly. Maybe you make a pillow and come all the way to the mat. And on your next inhale, coming up one more time, we're going to go for 5 breaths in plank, but just do as many as you can. If it's 2, if it's 3, that's great, wherever you're at. And as we continue practicing, maybe you'll increase those breaths, but we're going to go for 5. So setting up those elbows, clasping the hands, tucking those toes under, pressing the hips up, pressing out through the heels, out through the crown. Inhale and exhale, tucking that belly button up and in. Inhale and exhale, pressing through the elbows. Inhale, exhale, pressing out through the heels. Inhale, exhale, lengthening through the crown. Inhale and exhale, dropping back to the mat. Let's go ahead and take the big toes together, knees nice and wide for this child's pose, and drop that belly down in between the thighs. Go ahead and inhale forward onto your hands and knees, tucking those back toes under, pressing those hips up and back, down dog. Go ahead and roll those armpits in towards the ears, maybe walking the dog, bending one knee and then the other. Pressing strongly through all 10 fingertips, all 4 corners of the hands, bending deeply in the knees, shifting those hips up and back, dropping that chest towards the mat, beginning to straighten. And walking your feet slowly towards the hands. When you get them up to the hands into a forward fold, go ahead and just release into that forward fold. Maybe you grab elbow to elbow. Maybe you bend and straighten in the legs, releasing through the head and neck. Shake the head, yes. Shake it, no. And go ahead and release those hands back to the mat, tucking that tailbone under, beginning to roll up, one vertebra at a time. Allowing that head and neck to come up last. Nice work. I'm gonna switch sides because I'm used to being on this side, but go ahead and take that right foot, toes pointing forward. Stepping back with that left foot. And go ahead and take a pretty good step. Usually for a lot of these poses, standing poses, if you hold the arms out and your ankles are about under the wrists, that's usually a pretty good gauge, but feel free to adjust from there. If you do have a block close by, you may or may not want it. Go ahead and begin to bend into that front knee, that right knee, just making sure that the knee is staying back over the ankle. Go ahead and take that right elbow to the right knee. I'm going to open across the front body here, open across the shoulders. Maybe you take that left arm up alongside the ear, reaching out in a nice long diagonal, fingertips all the way down to the edge of that left foot, that outside edge. You can be activating your core here so you're not just like dumping all your weight onto that right foot. You're really holding it mostly with your body. That elbow is just resting there. Maybe you can bend a little deeper here. And on an inhale, pressing into that front foot, wind kneeling up. Let's go ahead and just switch the direction of the feet. Just double check. Mine don't always like line up perfectly the other way. So just double check that that heel is in alignment with the instep of that back foot. If you need to adjust a little bit, please do so before bending into that front knee. Again, the knee does not go over the ankle. Let up. If it's going over, go ahead and pull back. Go ahead and take that left elbow to right above that left knee, pressing out strongly through the right edge of that foot. Maybe you inhale that right arm up at a diagonal, Nice straight line from fingertip to foot. Again, you're activating that core. So you could lift yourself up. Your elbows just resting there. Breathing here. Maybe you deepen. Inhale, back up. Let's go ahead and switch back towards the front of the mat, or I'm going to do so. Bending into that right knee, framing the foot, back heel comes up off the mat, stepping back, down dog. And go and inhale down onto our knees and make our way down onto our side. I'm going to prep for side plank. Didn't have time for my wake-up tea this morning, so I'm doing it in class. Go ahead and place that elbow right under the shoulder. Forearm comes forward. Spread those fingers nice and wide, creating a nice, strong base. Now there's a couple options for the feet here. You might kickstand the foot. You might kickstand the foot back or forward, or if it's available to you, you might stack the feet one on top of another. From here, we're going to begin to press into that elbow, pressing the hips up, and you do want it to be a little bit curved. If you can hold it here and not dip down, but really you want to be crunching in the side abs here. So really shoot those hips up towards the sky, crunching in here, squeezing the glutes. You're flat across the front body here. We're not hunching in or out. Maybe you lift that top arm, that left arm up to the sky. And exhale, release. Making your way on to the other side. Left elbow comes to the mat. Choosing your feet position. Whatever you took on the other side is good to take on this side. Take the same foot position. And as you're ready, hand to hip, beginning to press up into those hips. Once you get up, just double checking that you're open across the front body. Pressing, 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 crunching through the obliques here. Maybe you lift that right arm up for a couple breaths. And releasing to the mat. Beautiful work. You can stay the way you're facing if you want. We're just going to make our way onto our backs. Bringing the feet in close to your body, walking those heels in. Let's go ahead and take the hands behind the neck, making a little pillow, really the base of the skull. Again, no pulling, just resting. And as if a cord was attached to your chest, this is where we're going to lift from. We're going to lift from our chest. So not our neck, not our chin, not our elbows. On an inhale, lifting that chest up, straight up towards the sky. Exhale, back. Inhale, up and back. And up and release. And up and release. A few more times, up and release. Beautiful work. and release. Stick with me if you can. Up and release. Rest if you need to. Up and release. All the way back to the mat. Letting the elbows open to the side. We're gonna do a couple more beautiful core work exercises before we begin to settle into Shavasana. But we're rounding down here. You've got this. Push yourself just a little bit towards the end here. Now we're going to take some across. So now it's the shoulder across. It might look like it's the elbow, but we're not leading with the elbow. We're leading with the shoulder, and that will really keep the active muscles in our abdominals and not just like stretching the back. So go ahead and lift that head and neck up off the mat. Then we're going to take the left shoulder towards the right knee and back. Right shoulder, left knee and back. And up and across and back. Up and across and back. Just a few each side. Up and back. And other side and back. 2 more each side. If you can stay with me, and back, up, and back. 1 more each side. Beautiful work. And back. And last one. And releasing all the way to the mat. Go ahead and release your hands from behind your head. Go ahead and take the feet about hips distance apart if they're not already. And go ahead and bring your hands down by your sides. We're going to take just a few penguins. So just the head and neck come up. And you're going to bring your hand to your heel on each side. That's 1. And again, 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. Let's go for 10 if you can. And 8. Take a rest whenever you need to. And 9. And 10. And release. Beautiful work. That's our core for today. Go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. And as you draw the knees in, we press that tailbone back towards the mat. Getting a nice spreading across the back. Releasing in the lower back there. Go ahead and let your feet come to the mat. Left ankle crosses above right knee. Lifting that right foot up off the mat, grabbing behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Figure 4. Breathing here. Flexing that top foot. And go ahead and release. Switch sides. Inhale up, grabbing thigh or shin, or start with 1 and then go deeper as long as your shoulder blades can come back to the mat. Flexing that top foot strongly for protecting our knee joints. Exhale, releasing both feet back to the mat. Go ahead and drop both knees to one side. Inhale through center, drop to the other side. Inhale, center, and drop, and center, and drop, and center, and drawing both legs out long, arms open to the side. Relaxing for a moment into Shavasana. Beginning to wiggle the fingers and toes, bringing awareness back into the body. And as you take one more deep breath in, allowing your practice this morning to settle into your body, go ahead and bend your knees, bringing the soles of your feet to the mat. With the soles of your feet on the mat, knees bent, go ahead and roll onto your side. And just taking a breath or two on your side here in fetal position. And pressing all the way up to seated. And thank you for joining me for practice today. Namaste.